Little Rock, the capital of Arkansas, has a population of about 197,000 people. Little Rock 9 is where African American kids wanted to attend an all-white school. The white kids and their parents threatened the black kids not to attend the school, and the governor Orval M. Faubus intervened in the crisis and had the Arkansas National Guard not allow the kids to go to the school. President Eisenhower then came into play and made it happen so that the black kids were allowed to go to the school. But they were only allowed to go if they had protection from the guards. From President Eisenhower's actions, the law for segregation was removed. It started to change in Arkansas for African Americans. Boris Pasternak was born on February 10, 1890, in Moscow, Russia, and died May 30, 1960, in Peredelkino, Russia. His parents are Rosa Kaufman and Leonid Pasternak. Rainer Maria Rilke influenced Pasternak with writing. Before he got into poetry, he loved botany and then took an interest in music. With music, he studied composition for 6 years. Then he studied philosophy for 3 years. After writing, he went into poetry. He's famous for the novel Only One. In 1957, he wrote Dr. Zhivago, a novel about a man named Dr. Zhivago who falls in love with a woman during the World War I era that included fiction and an autobiography. The book was not appropriate for the kind of communist government that Pasternak had been living in. He was an accomplished Russian novelist and poet, and his legacy carried on by winning the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1958. Mickey Mantle, also known as the Commerce Comet, or Mick, was born on October 20, 1931, in Spavinaw, Oklahoma, and died of a liver tumor on August 13, 1995, in Dallas, Texas. His parents were Elvin and Lawville Richardson Mantle. As soon as Mickey learned how to walk, his dad taught him how to play baseball and how to be a switch hitter. He was born into a family who loved baseball and started playing for the Yankees when he was 19 years old, playing number 7. He is known for being a fantastic switch hitter and outfielder. He won his second consecutive MVP and also won the award for the most runs scored in the American League, all in 1957. These awards were only the starting point to Mantle's big career. In 1974, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame with his best friend, Whitey Ford. He changed the way people view baseball by his major following. Sputnik is the first artificial Earth satellite. It's a 58-centimeter diameter polished metal sphere with 4 external radio antennas to broadcast radio pushes and weighs about 83 kilograms, which is the size of a human's arm. The Soviet Union launched it into an elliptical low Earth orbit on October 4, 1957. The surprise success started the American Sputnik crisis and triggered the space race between the Soviet Union and America that was a part of the larger Cold War. The launch created new political, military, technological, and scientific developments. The satellite traveled at about 29,000 kilometers per hour, taking 96.2 minutes to complete each orbit, and traveled around the Earth at a speed of 901.23 kilometers above the ground. Sputnik's launch provided a new and powerful way to create patriotism. Winning the space race was not only a matter of national security, but of national pride. Chow En-lao, born on March 5, 1898, and died January 8, 1976, was a Chinese communist leader and premier of the People's Republic of China. From the 1920s on, Chow was among the top leaders of the Chinese Communist Party. He was born in Haiwan, Jiangsu Province, into a landed family. Both his parents died when he was a child, so he was sent to live with an uncle in Mukden, where he was given a traditional primary education. In 1957, he played an important role in negotiating settlements of issues arising from Polish and Hungarian conflicts with the Soviet Union. One of his wishes was to see international communists in the world. In January 1957, he made a speech in Russia where he wished to restore Russia's government to communists like it was with Stalin. He was a member of the Communist Party in China ever since the beginning of its regime. He was instrumental in getting China and the U.S. under President Nixon to start up the diplomatic relations in the 1970s. Today, people think highly of Chow as a respected leader. Jack Kerouac, an American writer and poet, was born on March 12, 1922 in Lowell, Massachusetts, and died of alcohol abuse at age 47 in St. Petersburg, Florida, on October 21, 1969. By reading a novel called The Road and traveling with his best friend Neil Cassidy throughout America, he got inspired and wrote his own novel called On the Road. He was a pioneer of the Beat generation that were some American writers who got their fame in the 1950s. Some of the main ideas of the Beat culture were changes in the style of writing by rejecting the standards of their day, to ask questions in their writings about religion and the exploration of the human being. Kerouac is famous for his use of spontaneous prose. He wrote about travel, jazz music, sexuality, religious spirituality, drugs, and poverty, among other things, in On the Road. He was one of the first to push the hippie movement of peace, love, and drugs. Jack Kerouac was best known for writing the novel On the Road in 1951, but did not get published until 1957. It is considered an American classic because it drew readers to the thoughts of Beat generation writers in the 1950s.
River Kwai was a famous movie from 1957 about World War II, directed by David Lean and produced by Sam Spiegel. This movie shows all the historic events with fiction added and was released on October 2nd of 1957. It's about a man named Lieutenant Colonel Tusi who was ordered to build a bridge by the Japanese over the River Kwai to help the Japanese be able to move their troops from Bangkok to Rangoon. The bridge on the River Kwai made David Lean an international director who never made a small movie again. This movie was the starting point to his huge career. It was very successful and won many Academy Awards, which is why Billy Joel included it in his song.